Right now, the world outside is in a state of collective fever. It's Friday night, and society has a script for you. It says you should be out there. It says you should be seen, heard, and documented on a highlight reel. But you've just performed the most rebellious act of the week. You locked the door. You chose the dim lamp over the neon lights. You chose your own company over the performance of social survival. Society looks at your empty weekend and sees a void. They call it boring, lonely, or even sad. But what if they are the ones missing out? What if your desire to stay home isn't a social flaw, but a sign of a highly sophisticated brain and an emotionally mature soul? Welcome back to the Quiet Corner. Today, we're going to verify the deep psychology of the weekend homebody. We're going to bridge the gap between ancient philosophy and modern neuroscience to understand why your quiet is actually your greatest power. The 17th century philosopher Blaise Pascal once wrote a line that still haunts our modern world. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Think about that for a moment. Is it possible that the chaos we see in the world, the constant noise, the burnout, the desperate need for validation, is all just an escape? Are we so afraid of what we might discover in the silence that we'll do anything to avoid it? When you choose to stay home, you are tackling the very challenge Pascal laid out centuries ago. You are refusing to be a fugitive from your own mind. While others are running away from themselves in a crowd, you are the only one brave enough to stand your ground. If sitting quietly in a room alone is the hardest thing for a human to do, then isn't your weekend homebody habit actually a form of extraordinary mental strength? But strength isn't the only thing at play. There is a deep biological reason for your sanctuary. Susan Cain, the author of Quiet, explains that people who prefer solitude often have a fundamentally different sensory processing sensitivity. Think of it like a volume knob in your brain. For the social butterfly, their knob is set to low. They need the roar of a crowd just to feel stimulated. But for you, your knob is naturally turned to high. You experience the world in high definition. A subtle change in someone's tone, the smell of the city, the ticking of a clock. You feel it all. If your internal world is already a vibrant 8K IMAX theater, why would you need the overwhelming noise of a bar to feel alive? Staying home isn't about being boring. It's about sensory regulation. You are simply keeping your internal volume at a level that allows you to think, feel, and create without the static of the world drowning you out. There is a common myth that being alone is a sign of rejection, but the famous psychoanalyst Donald Winnicott argued the exact opposite. He proposed a concept called the capacity to be alone. He believed this is actually one of the most important signs of emotional maturity. To Winnicott, being comfortable in silence means you have a solid internal object. It means you are so secure in who you are that you don't need constant applause, likes, or external presence to feel real. You don't need a witness to your life to know your life has meaning. Think about the last time you felt perfectly content with just a book and a cup of tea. Did you realize that was a psychological victory? While the world is desperately chasing presents to prove they exist, you are already complete exactly where you are. Is it possible that your boring weekend is actually a masterclass in self-possession? Finally, let's look at the hardware. When you are at home doing nothing, your brain is actually doing everything. This is the moment your default mode network, DMN, kicks in. In the quiet of your room, your brain begins to defragment. It takes the chaotic information of your work week, the stress, the data, the half-finished thoughts, and it weaves them into wisdom. This is why your best ideas come to you while you're staring at the ceiling or watering a plant. You are giving your mind the space it needs to connect the dots. If the weekends are the only time your brain can turn information into insight, can you really afford to spend them distracting yourself with the noise of others? So, let's reframe the boring label for good. Choosing solitude in a world obsessed with noise is an act of radical self-preservation. It is a way of saying, my attention is my own, my time is my own, I am enough. If your perfect Saturday is a documentary, a slow-cooked meal, and zero social obligations, don't feel guilty. You have achieved emotional independence. I want to hear from you. Which of these ideas hit you the hardest? Do you feel Pascal was right, that we're all just running from ourselves? Or has Susan Cain's sensory threshold finally explained why you feel so drained after an hour out? Share your quiet corner experience in the comments. Let's build a library of sanctuaries here. If this video made you feel a little more seen, hit that subscribe button. Join us here at the Quiet Corner, where we celebrate the thinkers, the homebodies, and the beautiful science of being human. Stay quiet, stay deep, and enjoy your beautiful, intentional weekend. I'll see you in the next corner.